I was robbing pieces just to eat 'em back at Charlie's house. No access is given unless you part of the crew. You didn't know, I thought you knew, like, I thought you knew.
It ain't you, it's just how it is. Girl, I wish I could change things.
Sunrise, so I open my eyes. Reflections catch me by surprise. Sometimes you've gotta cleanse your mind. Yeah.
And my heart breaks, turned off the music, listen to the rain instead. Listen to the rain instead.
Could I just ask you to introduce yourself and just say what you did in terms of the 7 streams we did at St George's over the summer?
I filmed, edited and did the lighting.
I recorded all the sound and mixed and edited the audio that we got for the broadcasts.
So in terms of the streams that we did, 6 were pre-recorded and the 7th was again pre-recorded, but it was also a hybrid event. It was in person as well.
Well, we took the decision quite early on to film, edit and then stream, because felt it would be a much better quality product. We just sort of decided on that quite early on. But the learning process was quite a learning process, you know, the business of talking to the musicians and making sure they knew exactly what was going on, and then just having cameras in the right place. You know, there's quite a steep learning curve, but I think, you know, we got somewhere really professional by the end of it.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel that the sort of setting added to it as well, and the fact that we could edit it.
Yeah.
I think if it had been, you know, something live, although, you know, live you do expect things to go wrong, but I think that we were just given an opportunity to just have this really well-produced body of work.
Well, it also made a big difference having, you know, we could have a smaller team by doing this, because if you're streaming live, you need someone to look after the stream and to make sure things don't go wrong.
And if you are kind of like using a sort of smaller team, it does sort of cost less as well, because, you know, I would say on average the kind of average stream for us to be able to do sort of cost over £1,000 with all the hire of the church and your time and you know, the sort of production that went into it. What are your sort of feelings on stream shows? One thing I was thinking of with the camera angle is, you know, when you go to a gig, you can't see various camera angles. You see one view unless you move around a lot. And if it's a sold out gig, that's going to be quite impossible, really. So, I mean, a stream, I sort of feel, has to be quite different to a live show in order for it to be appealing to people. It needs to have a bit more value.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think almost the way forward was almost maybe like a sort of online sort of magazine show kind of format or something. Me, you're showcasing artists, but not trying to make it a replacement for a live event because it can't be. And I thought it was interesting with the St George's shows because you had some wide shots and stuff. It was very, very apparent that it wasn't a live gig, and it kind of made a feature of that, of having this amazing space,
Yeah.
and the fact that it wasn't people there, you know,
Yeah,
apart from the artists.
yeah.
It was,
I mean, it's quite difficult to replace the live gig scenario because people like to be in the room with other people, you know, watching stuff. It's like the communal spirit of it. But, you know, I do believe that there is a room for the streaming. You know, people can't always go to shows. Some people are isolating still, you know, and would still like to go. So, you know, they're still
Or underage, or just not able to get out.
yeah.
Through, you know,
would like
being
to,
too old. Or
would like to watch something at their leisure, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what are your sort of thoughts on sort of 5G? Have you got any thoughts? I mean, it would give hopefully the opportunity for artists from different parts of the world to kind of work together in one live event.
Yeah, I mean, like any sort of streaming, there are so many variables. You know, you need to have a really strong team pulling everything together, making sure things run smoothly, and, you know, like live streaming, that there are so many variables where things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So you need to have a good team, and what I've seen of 5G so far, it does need tidying up a little bit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, Matt?
I think it's quite exciting, the idea that the latency will be low enough that people can kind of interact in real time over distance, because obviously that's not really been a thing until now.
Right.
You know, no matter how much online collaboration goes on, there's always a sense of things being sent backwards and forwards. So I think it's quite exciting if that can be made fast enough that, you know, things do actually occur in real time.
I mean, it may be something that means that certain artists can afford, you know, certain session musicians, they don't have to be on tour with them and they have to be paid for the visas and the travel and all that kind of thing.
Right, sure.
That, you know, you can have like a drummer in a different country who's just in a studio each night
Good
for when you do
linked
the
live
gig. Yeah.
performances. No,
All
that could be a whole new thing, I guess,
Mm.
of just sort of collaborative performances by people who physically would find it quite difficult to make a schedule where they can collaborate
Yeah.
and perform, but do it in that kind of a way. So.
Yeah, older artists who don't want to tour anymore,
Mm.
and you know, maybe there's a sort of environmental impact thing
Yeah, for sure.
as well.
Reduction of air travel and
Was there anything else that you wanted to sort of finally say about it? I know, Chris, you learnt from maybe using a stronger sort of connection in order to be able to not have jarring on the first stream that we did.
Yeah. I mean, the first stream that we did was on my laptop, which is, you know, still quite a powerful laptop. But you know, just using Wi-Fi, we you discovered, you know, that you get dropouts very much more easily, and you know, and I had to do a lot of research. You know, I'm not from the world of streaming; I'm from the world of live visuals, so I had to, you know, do a lot of research, trial and error, and unfortunately, where I live in Lewis, you know, the internet's not very good at all. So they're, you know, trying to discover what the problem was. I had to do it somewhere where there's a decent internet connection. So yeah, but we used an Ethernet cable, and I had to use my iMac, which has got a much more powerful processor, and everything runs smoothly after that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts for you, Matt? Is it a
I-
world that you like working in?
It was very much a world I enjoyed working in, actually. It was really nice to just have that environment where you have artists performing and yourself documenting it, and, you know, without the surrounding sort of palaver of an audience. As much as I love live events, of course, but it was a very interesting thing to do, and it was lovely to have that opportunity at a time when pretty much all other work had dried up for people in live events. So it was a great lifeline and a great opportunity to try something new and to mix things in a more controlled way. So like to mix them after the show in a sort of studio environment.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting, exciting opportunity, really.
Yeah.
So.
It was also nice to bridge the gap with the last one we did, which was the hybrid show, where we actually had a live audience in there, and you know, and that's a nice way to sort of to end it, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you find that a challenge, more of a challenge, or?
Well, it's had its limitations where I put the cameras for a start.
Yeah.
But apart from that, no. Yeah.
Well, thanks ever so much for being part of it. I don't think we could have really done it without the Arts Council funding, just because there wasn't as, you know, the take-up you get in terms of people, you know, buying tickets. I think at the grassroots level, people definitely expect it to be free, so it was quite difficult charging for it and getting an audience, especially with it being summertime as well, because by the time we applied for the money, and that's when it all sort of came through and we had to do it. But it's definitely a great sort of body of work. It's not something at the moment that's very financially viable for a promoter, but it's a great sort of body of work for the artists and for us to experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.